So Fortnite recently added a skin bundle based off of Norse mythology, and I wanted to take the time to see how well they've adapted these characters into Fortnite. I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to Norse, but I do have a few friends who are, so I asked them to help me out on this one. There's also some other aspects of the skins I wanted to talk about, but first, let's just look at how good these depictions of the characters are. First up, we have Hel, goddess of the Norse underworld. This is definitely the best skin out of all of them, and also a pretty good portrayal of the character. Hel is half dead, and is normally portrayed with her body half rotting and her skull visible, which Fortnite does lean into a little bit, having one of her arms be ghostly and transparent, her right legging having a skull pattern on it, and a small hint of a ghostly skull. I would have liked to see them lean a little bit more into that idea, having more of her body have that spiritual skeleton look, but this is serviceable enough. The only thing I dislike about this skin is the face. It just looks too similar to the NVIDIA DLSS version of Grace Ashcroft that was going around a while ago. I don't think the Goddess of Hell should have a TikTok filter for a face, but other than that, the skin's actually kind of nice. Next up, we have the Valkyrie of the group, which on its own is a pretty good skin, but for an interpretation of a Norse character, it's a little lacking. Case in point, can you even tell who this is supposed to be? Ren couldn't even come up with a guess of who this could be, and Jim Jam thought this was Freya. This is not Freya. This is meant to be Bernhild, the Shield Maiden. Again, I don't hate the design on its own, but there's just not much about this design that says Norse, other than the runic tattoo and the helmet style having wings. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even be able to tell that this is based off of a Valkyrie. Also, why is she blonde? Bernhild is ginger in her earlier depictions, and she's normally shown to be using a spear, but her pickaxe is dual-wielding axes. It's like they designed a generic Valkyrie biker girl and then just named it Bernhild for the funnies. It's not a bad skin, but it's also not really Norse enough. And then lastly, we have Thor Odinson, God of Thunder. This is just not that interesting of a Thor concept. I describe it as being very safe in its design. Like, they're trying to make the most appealing version of Thor imaginable. Credit where credit is due, they did make the hair and the beard different colors like it is in his mythology, and the little goat keychain is cute, but going for a surfer bro type aesthetic is just not interesting. I know most depictions of Thor have him all big and muscular, but in the mythology, he could be seen as being more big and heavyset, like the way that he is in God of War. This design is so much closer to the way that he is in Norse mythology, while the other one just looks like the guy that ruined the Pokemon card economy. When I first showed these skins to Ren, she actually thought that these were interpretations of the Marvel Norse mythology. And when I told her that these were meant to be modern versions of the base mythology, she was not happy. Like, why even make Thor look like this at that point? We already have two different Marvel skins for Thor that have that more masculine interpretation, and because these skins are trying to be more based off of the original Norse mythology, it would have been really cool to see them go in a different direction, giving him more of a heavyweight lifter type of build, or something like that. Instead, we got discount Chris Hemsworth. Overall, these are not the best interpretations of these characters, but they're also not too offensive. Other than Thor. To me, they had a lot of the same problems that the skins from Myths and Mortals had. They just don't feel legendary or grandiose enough to be depictions of gods. Hel kinda gets there, but the other two don't. Jim Jam put it the best when he said that these look like California versions of these characters. I'm sure people who are less familiar with these characters won't have much of a problem with these designs, but my friends that know a lot more about Norse are not happy with these. Now, I've also seen a lot of people complain about how out of place a lot of these character designs feel. Even some people going as far to say that they look nothing like a Fortnite character, and I half agree with that. These skins do clearly have a degree of that Fortnite style to them, especially if you look at them from a distance. Like, far away, yeah, I can tell that's from Fortnite. But when we start getting a little closer is when we start running into problems. The skins just have way too much detail to them. We can start to see individual hairs in Thor's beard, and his eyes are much more realistic looking. And we can spot out tiny details in Hel's clothes, like the threading in her belt and vest. It's so much more detail than Fortnite skins normally have. Let's compare Hel to a Fortnite character with a very similar design, like Helsi. Her key art is a little lower resolution than the other one, but we can still tell that she has a much simpler design. Helsi has blocks of hair with a few lines to imply detail, compared to the strands we can see in the other one. And her belts are just black straps with no threading at all. Now, compare the eyes between the two. Helsi has bigger irises with a few triangles to imply eyelashes, while Hel has incredibly small pupils and heavily detailed eyelashes. Even if I change her half silvery eye color to be all blue, they're still tiny by comparison. The Norse skins are just too detailed to be a Fortnite skin. This is what makes them feel so out of place. The character models and proportions are perfectly fine for a Fortnite skin. Like, if you went into Photoshop, smoothed out all the detail, and then give them a little bit more of a cartoony face, they would all fit right in. Like, Brunhild is the only skin here that doesn't look out of place, and that's because she just has less detail out of the three. And even then, she still has those detailed leather straps that almost no other Fortnite character has. I know a lot of people have been saying that Fortnite has been losing its art style for years now, and I've not really agreed with that most of the time. I think Fortnite character design has almost exclusively improved over the years, but these skins are the first ones where I legitimately feel like they're losing the plot a little bit. I really hope that these are not what future skins are gonna look like, because they just don't feel like they belong in the game. Even the Leifei skin, which was added to this same update and based off of a real-life person, does not have this same level of detail that the Norse skins have. And she feels like she fits in more than any of the other skins do. I don't know what happened with these character designs, like if they were made with AI or something, or if they were handled by a different art team, but whatever it is, I hope they stop doing it because I don't like it. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that I've seen a lot of people say that they're glad that the Norse season got cancelled, because if these skins were any indicator, it would have been bad. However, as much as I agree with that, I would still take a bad Norse season over no Norse season. Even a bad interpretation can be a good jumping off point to explore the original mythology. I mean, look at us now. We're talking about Norse mythology because of some less than stellar interpretations. Even if they don't do a good job, it would still be interesting to see the direction that they take these characters. Even if that direction is Californian Norse. I hope that we still get a Norse-themed season one day, but for now, I'm gonna go back to working on my next video, which has nothing to do with Fortnite. I'll see you then! I forgot to mention this in the last video, but I did recently start a Patreon as a better way to help support the channel. You'll get monthly updates on what I plan to work on, early access to scripts directly, and behind-the-scenes sneak peeks. Those are all really the same thing if you think about it. There's a link in the description to the Patreon if you're interested in supporting the channel. Okay, bye!